The importance of personal responsibility. How often have you been driving and thought, if that car in front of me would just move out of the way, I could get where I'm going faster? These kinds of thoughts cross my mind often. If that car would move, or that person would stop using that tone with me, or if so-and-so wouldn't put me in an awkward position or make me feel a certain way, life would be grand. All of these statements, however, communicate to your brain that your well-being is dependent upon someone else. Let's break this down. When I say that I want someone else to change their behavior, I am really saying that I don't like how I feel and I don't know what to do about it. I want someone else to change so I can feel better. Essentially, I have taken all of my power chips and handed them over for someone else to manage my life. Let's look at an example. I was recently at an airport and the people in front of me in the security line were taking forever. One person took a shoe off and gently placed it on the conveyor belt so slowly that I wondered if she ever intended on having the other shoe join its mate. The gentleman behind her agreed with this pace. With all of us in line waiting, he leisurely drank his water before proceeding with the security routine. Man, did I have judgments. My head and facial expressions were screaming, "Have you never been in a security line? We are all waiting. How rude. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Needs to chest people. Get moving." I was so invested in their obvious, to me, socially unacceptable behavior that by the time I got through the line, I was huffing and puffing, wondering what could ever possess people to be so inconsiderate. Because of them, I had a stressful experience and had to rush to my gate, despite arriving at the airport in what I thought left plenty of time. I was irritated, and I placed all of the blame on the other people in the security line. In short, what I believed at that moment was, if they changed their behavior, I could feel better. Wow, that is a loaded statement. By going down this train of thought, with my emotions quickly following, I just invested in the belief that someone else is responsible for how I feel. Ugh, no wonder I was frustrated and felt powerless. In this experience, I believed I had fallen victim to someone else's ignorance. Notice those words? Powerless. Victim. Now, you might think that this was such a minor incident. How could this really affect how I feel about myself or my place in the world? You might also agree with the judgments I made about the slow movers at the airport and share my frustration. Well, the beliefs that we invest our time, thinking, and behavior into are important. They inform the blueprint of how we see ourselves in the world and how we show up for life. And here's the rub. When you expect others to take care of you, you cheat the relationship and you cheat yourself. Your confidence dwindles. You begin to believe you cannot do hard things. When you expect others to regulate themselves so you feel better, you burden the other person with the expectation that it is their responsibility to make you feel differently than you do. Deep down, nobody wants this responsibility. It is an unwelcome gift. Even if the recipient saddles up and takes responsibility for how you feel, resentment is likely to build. The other person has just received a weight that is too heavy for them to bear. They have also received the inferred message that you are unable to meet your needs and regulate yourself. So you subtly lose some of their respect. When you hand over your feel-good expectations to someone else, you cheat yourself by giving yourself the message that you can't handle the responsibility. Someone else needs to ride in on a white horse and rescue you, all because you are not whole enough to handle things on your own. When you use phrases such as, "so-and-so made me feel," fill in the blank with a favorite icky feeling emotion, It is like a slowly dripping faucet of self-disrespect. You may not feel the impact of the first drop, but eventually the sink fills up and you've got a big sloshy pool of belief that others hold the power to make you feel, and you become a victim to their behavior. Talk about a confidence buster. When you repeatedly tell yourself that others are making you feel a certain way, or thinking that if others would behave differently, that would solve your distressing emotions, you are also telling yourself that you cannot do hard things. This is one of the most dangerous messages for you to believe. Resilience is built upon knowing that you can do hard things, that you can roll with whatever life throws your way, and that you know, as long as you are in your own corner, you've got this life thing. When you start to lose sight of this fact by hoping others will change their behaviors to make you feel better, you are in serious trouble. On the other hand, when you look for and accept your responsibility and volition in all situations, you gain a sense of empowerment, more mutually rewarding relationships, self-confidence, and self-respect. If in the airport I had noticed my thoughts, damn these people for making me anxious and uncomfortable, here's how I could have responded. Uh-oh, did I just say someone else is making me feel? Okay, it's time for me to get to work here. Step 1, notice and label when you have just handed over the responsibility for how you feel to someone else. Step 2, focus inward and question. Questions I might ask myself include, what am I feeling in my body? What emotion is this I'm feeling right now? What about this situation is making me uncomfortable instead of the many other situations I've been through today that I haven't focused on this intently? What interpretation am I having of others' behaviors in this situation? Are there other possible perspectives here? This inward focus immediately grows your sense of self-respect and responsibility for your own experience. First of all, you receive the message from yourself that you are worth paying attention to, and that your experience is significant enough for you to focus all of your attention in this moment. Second, by observing yourself in this way, you unglue from your interpretations and reactions and start getting reflective, leading you to other possible experiences. Third, this step is hard, and when you practice turning toward yourself in this way, you learn that you can do it. You gain confidence in your ability to tackle your unchecked reactions. While you are building all this empowerment, self-confidence, and self-respect, you are also improving your relationship with the other people in the situation. If I had put this into practice in the security line, I wouldn't have glared, sighed, rolled my eyes, and in general treated others with contempt. Perhaps I could have let others have their experiences and I mine, and focused on what I needed in that situation. Which brings us to step 3. Identify your needs and respond. If I had asked myself what I needed in that moment, regardless of others' behavior, I probably could have used some deep, slow breaths, stopped fidgeting, which was fueling my frustration, and maybe talked to someone or texted a friend for a brief distraction. Maybe all I needed was to acknowledge that I felt frustrated, that my interpretation was that I was being disrespected, and I would have been able to let it go. Perhaps I would have decided to ask for the people in front of me to move more quickly, or request they let me go in front of them. The point is that I did not ask myself what I needed, so I did not receive the message that I cared about what I needed, and I certainly was not able to provide it for myself. Even so, I still have step 4, reflect. Although I am not proud of my behavior in the airport and it is not a representation of how I wish to walk through the world, I can still face it and move forward. Notice your ineffective behaviors in retrospect and walk yourself through what went wrong. Thinking about how it could go differently the next time, as I just did, facilitates change. After this exercise, I can tell you with 99% certainty that the next time I am frustrated in a security line, I will think of this example. When you wake up to the moment, you have a chance to make a choice and do things differently.